Good day to each and everyone, especially to our instructor of this class. So I'm Larry Jr. D. Gimbarda and I will be the next reporter, and my topic is planning, implementing, and evaluating, understanding the connections. So in this topic, we have 4 learning outcomes. So all together, let's read everyone. So at the end of the session, the learners should be able to first analyze the relationship between planning and implementing in curriculum development. Next is explain the connection of curriculum implementation and evaluation. Next is discuss the interrelatedness of curriculum evaluation and curriculum planning. And the last is interpret the overall relationships of planning, implementing, and evaluating in curriculum development. So, before we proceed, let me ask you a simple question that I want you to ponder, which could be answerable just by yes or no. So, does the curriculum development end with evaluation? So, here is the answer, which is yes. Which is right naman kasi naklase naman din natin yan with our last or previous lessons. So, however, since we are talking about curriculum development, in this topic, it doesn't end with evaluation because curriculum development is a continuous process. So from the word development alone, it corresponds towards change. And in this world, we all know that change is always constant. So it comprises with planning, implementing, and evaluating, or what we call PI, which is a cyclical process, which means after evaluating, the process starts again from the start with which is planning. So let's proceed with our content focus. So the first slide of our content focus is the evaluation cycle or the connections. Planning, implementing, and assessing or evaluating are the 3 processes in curriculum development that are taken separately but are connected to each other. The cycle continues as each is embedded in a dynamic change that happens in curriculum development. So planning, implementing, and evaluating ay magkakaiba yan sila in terms of how they works. But what's the beauty of these 3 is that they have one main purpose, kaya sila nagwo-work in separate ways, and that is for the development of the curriculum. So here is the cyclical process of pi, which we could observe. It is in circle form, and there's an circulating arrow denoting that it is a cyclical process or paikot-ikot lang na proseso. So where do you think does the process begins? So, alright. So, here's the first key idea. Planning is an initial step in curriculum development. So, it means it's where the process starts. Planning. Determining needs through assessment, learners, teachers, community, and societal requirements. So, in the first place, if mag-plan tayo, it's a must that there are these determinants and this can be determined through assessment. Furthermore, planning can be determined if ano ang needs nating lahat, mga learners, teachers, community as a whole, and etc. Setting smart outcomes, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So, dapat in smart form talaga if napaplan tayo para naman at the end, what we are planning could not be wasted because if we base through the proper ways, it could be doable, achievable, and desired. Or in short, mapapakinabangan natin or there is a high chance na makaproceed tayo towards the next process, which is the implementation. So let's go to the third dot, which is crafting strategies for achieving outcomes. Methods means support, materials, and evaluation inclusion. So another action we need to have in planning is the crafting of strategies. So dapat na in planning, magaling tayo in terms of making strategies, and dapat flexible tayo and competent. So the role of a well-written plan. A lesson plan as an example. A written document ensuring successful implementation. So a perfect example of planning is the lesson plan. it was what our teachers and us aspiring teachers use para maging isang successful ang ating klase. So imagine walang lesson plan. What do you think ang mangyayari sa klase? So kadalasan if walang lesson plan, boring yung klase. Then minsan hindi nagkakapasunod ang mga strategies mo and many more that would make your class cannot be implemented properly. So it's very important to have a well-constructed plan, just like this lesson plan for a successful implementation. So here are another samples of outputs of planning, which is the lesson plans, unit plans, syllabi, course designs, modules, books, instructional guides, or new science curriculum plans. So we're done with planning. So next is implementation continues after planning. Implementation. Curriculum plans needs to be actively implemented rather than remaining as written documents. So obviously, after planning, kailangan na natin yan mai-implement. Or what is being planned must be utilized by the curriculum implementer para din naman may sense yung ginawa na plano at hindi maging sayang lang. So another question, so sino ang curriculum implementer? So the curriculum implementer are none other than the teachers. They play a crucial role in putting the curriculum into action. Teachers as curriculum planners. Often the planner of the curriculum is also the one responsible for implementation. So because the teacher is also often the curriculum planner, they are responsible in implementing it as well. So assuming na tayo ang teachers, what do you think is the reason bakit na tayo din ang mag-i-implement sa ating plan? So so the reason behind it is that it will be easy for us na i-implement ito kasi nga tayo ang gumawa, which means kabisado na natin ang ating napagplanuhan. As a result, it would lead us to a successful implementation. A thorough understanding of the curriculum is essential for effective implementation. Kasi nga meron na tayong thorough understanding of the curriculum that is being planned. It would help us, it is very essential for us for an effective implementation. Executing a well-written curriculum plan. So a teacher can execute this written curriculum with the help of using instructional materials, equipment, and resource materials, which are vital. With the help of this, teacher can provide a more engaging and interesting implementation. Also, para maging successful ang implementation, dapat merong adequate time allocation, which means in every parts of sa iyong napagplanuhan, dapat may nakalaan ka na time na para lang sa activity na iyon. Dapat you have divided your time properly for each parts of a plan. Ensuring accurate execution. The curriculum implementer must ensure that the plan is followed accurately. The teacher's skill and ability to facilitate learning are crucial during implementation. So to ensure an accurate execution, dapat you have mastered already what is being planned. Having the mastery would not just help you implement it, but it would give you the edge to execute it in a creative way. Last part for implementation, achieving intended outcomes. The ultimate goal of curriculum implementation is to achieve the intended outcomes of the curriculum. So dapat if ano yung gusto nating mapaabot sa ating implementation ay dapat ma-achieve talaga at maipaabot ng maayos. And to know if we achieve truly the intended outcomes, here comes now the evaluation. So evaluation follows implementation. Purpose of evaluation. So the purpose of evaluation is it determines successful implementation of the planned curriculum and achievement of learning outcomes. With the help of curriculum evaluation, it would determine if successful ba yung first two processes, which are the planning and the implementing phase. Then if unsuccessful ito, kailangan ng implementer na ma-determine kung ano ang reasons behind it. Kung sa pagplan ba or sa pag-implement ba ang may lapses or mali. Evaluation models for curriculum evaluation. Models from previous lessons guide the evaluation process and associated measurement tools. So the examples of these evaluation models are already discussed by Mr. Al-Jalil from the last reporter, which again includes the models of Bradley, Tyler, Staffel Beams, and Scriven. Assessment of learning emphasizes levels of assessment based on learning outcomes defined by the Department of Education. Description of learner proficiency is determined by weighted test scores on an interval scale. So in this part of the curriculum evaluation, the weighted test scores of the learners are being used. So last key idea is what has been planned should be implemented and what has been implemented should be evaluated. So in this part of my report, it would serve as a short summary of my discussion. As what we discussed earlier, the PI cycle is on a cyclical flow. So it consists of plan, implement, and evaluation. Kung saan dyan lang di nagmula ang word na PI from their initials. So, guiding principles for curricularists highlights the inability to assess what wasn't taught or implement what wasn't planned. So, the PI cycle serves as a guide na di tayo makakapag-evaluate if wala naman din tayong nagawa na plan and implementation. Kaya before a teacher can perform the 3 processes of curriculum development, it is essential that every process is done in a proper way. Cycle continuation. Plan, implement, evaluate, and cycle repeats. Sequential process that perpetuates the curriculum development cycle. So because the PI cycle is a cycle that continues and it seems that has no end, this 3, which is the plan, implement, and evaluate, has a major role to its continuous process. And let's always remember that this process will always continue for the curriculum's progress and development, for the betterment of those who can benefit the curriculum. So, this would end my report, and thank you for listening. I hope that everyone has gained ideas that could help them improve their knowledge in terms of this subject. And that would be all. Thank you.